Welcome to the Pixel Response Podcast.
All right, we're
there
back
you
in.
go.
We're in
We're
it.
back. Pixel
New time
Response.
slots.
Yeah, brand new time. Same great show.
Yeah.
Pixel Response 163 is on the air.
That's us. Yeah,
This is live. I know you downloaded a recording and are listening to it, but this is literally one-to-one what's happening. It's crazy. In a parallel dimension.
It is confusing to say that. It is not, in fact, being broadcasted live, but it is live as we speak.
Sure, yeah. But I guess now you can rewind it and put us in time loops and stuff. Like that brand new video game coming out, Deathloop. I haven't really been following that.
They keep showing video for it, and it's like, yeah, I get the premise. I'm in. I don't need to watch like a trailer. Another trailer. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think it was the Sony State of Play or whatever. Yeah. I was like, yeah, I get it. It's is it the Dishonored people?
It's Arcane, yeah.
Okay. Oh, and that Might and Magic game, right? Like way back? I think that was them.
Oh, like Might and Magic 10 or something?
I forget. Dark Messiah.
Oh, no, Dark Messiah is what you're talking about.
Yeah. That was a cool demo.
Was that Dark? Was that them? I'm looking it up right now because fact checking is a thing. I don't feel like I don't know about you.
They don't have anything to do with it? I thought they did for years, but maybe I'm wrong.
No, they do. They do.
Okay, good.
What I was saying, though, is that I don't know about you, but I listen to a bunch of podcasts, and they'll say something, and then, like, everybody in the fucking world forgets Google exists. You can fact check this, like, right now, and that's what I don't want to be like that, where
but
it's just
going to be, like, tick, 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 tick during the show, like, in the audio, right? Like, the keyboard.
I don't think so, because I have a noise gate on. We've been doing this for long enough that it's pretty easy to not do any. And like, I
put my laptop like far away from the mic, but it still gets ticky tacky when I do that. So
sure,
I try to research beforehand, but I didn't even mean to talk about Deathloop today, so I'm in uncharted waters. But yeah, Dark Messiah, there's this sick demo. It was back when like Havoc physics were really novel still, and you could like slice a post and a barrel would fall on an orc or something, and it was like, yeah, look at that.
It was 15 years ago that game came out, 2006.
Yeah, we were all watching The Departed again, and I don't know,
maybe
shrugging
for the
our
first
shoulders. Time. Well, it's okay. That's a angry movie.
It's actually really close. So The Departed came out September of that year, and Dark Messiah came out the next month in October. Almost exactly
what all the kids were doing in 2006.
Yeah, almost exactly.
I worked at a grocery store. It was okay.
Did you? 2006, I was working at a gas station still, I think. This was...
Occasionally, I would help at the co-op gas bar, so I had a little bit of that, but yeah.
No, I was working at a place called Geary's, which did WestJet cargo and some other heavy-hitting airlines like Air North and Canadian North. That's around when I started.
Oh, okay.
And kind of what we do now.
Was that breakfast place still open? That was like in the warehouse facility?
Oh, were you around with George and his wife, their little cafe?
Like I saw the sign for it, and it was like still on Urban Spoon and stuff. But then when you tried to go there, it's like, no, it's gone. It's like,
it was run by an old Chinese or Japanese, I can't remember which one. It's one of those two men named George. Well, his English name is George. I don't remember what his actual
given
name is. His given name was. And he had a wife who was had both of her legs were lame, like she couldn't walk at all. So he would like carry her and stuff. And she moved around the kitchen on this stool using her butt to kind of like do this weird like little shuffle to move around.
Okay.
And they made some of the greasiest and best diner food that you would ever eat. It was disgusting if you like wanted something like good for you, but working at like 6 a.m, they had decent coffee, and they would like make the equivalent of what's like an A&W breakfast burger with like the kind of bun with an egg, melted cheese, and bacon on it, and it just fucking to die for. I haven't had something that good in a long time.
Yeah, it had folded by the time I got there, so darn.
Bummer. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe the sign's still up, though, or maybe someone took it.
Those people, they had a hard life, though, because the last time they closed, and the reason they closed was because they found out that George had cancer, and he died shortly after. I don't know what happened with his wife. They were the nicest people, and it's kind of a shame you never got to meet them. They were very, very nice people, and yeah, they had a hard life. It's kind of too bad, but yeah, I hope their family or whatever is still doing well. I don't know any of them, but
yeah. God. There you go, a little slice of Calgary tragedy right there. So
that sign is still there, though. You're right.
Yeah. Was it upstairs too? Like, is that why?
No, it was on the ground level.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, well, there you go. Local breakfast spot. I don't know what the Stampede's going on. That's another local event.
I was thinking more about it, and I was thinking that, like, if there was ever a year I should go, it probably should have been this year because of all the restrictions and people saying, well, I'm not going because of COVID. It's like, perfect.
There's no line for the zipper.
For anything.
Yeah. Maybe. Because, yeah, there'd be lines for food, lines for everything over there. So if they're actually spacing people out and limiting things, maybe it's the way to go.
Yeah, I don't believe they are. But
yeah. No, I don't know. The photos I've seen are just like, we're flipping pancakes and whatever, like Stampede breakfast action and whatever. But yeah, I haven't really seen the midway. I don't know what's going on in the ride zone.
I do know a bunch of people are pissed off because one of the things called Nashville North, which is like their music
concerts
stage area.
Yeah.
You needed to get into that area at all. You needed proof that you were vaccinated.
Okay.
And, like, nobody that goes to the Stampede is vaccinated because they're a bunch of inbred fucking retarded hicks.
Well,
so
yeah, the country music crowd around here. And the Venn diagrams aren't exactly the same. So, yeah. There was, like, rogue rodeos going on in the province prior to sanctions being lifted.
So stupid.
Yeah.
Rogue rodeo.
You can't stop us. We're going to get booked off things and kicked in the face on our own.
We're going to watch people ride horses. Yeehaw. God, I hate where we live. I fucking hate everybody here so much.
Yeah. It did put a nearby Filipino restaurant on my radar, though, some of these posts or whatever. Like, they had a Stampede breakfast. It's like, maybe they got that weird sweet spaghetti. Kind of want to try it. So
I don't like that stuff. It's, I guess, for anybody who might want to equivalent it, the sweet spaghetti stuff tastes like SpaghettiOs or something, like spaghetti you would get in a can. It's that, but like
they like put
more
hot
tasty.
Dogs and stuff in it too, right? Like, it's kind of.
I don't know if you're talking about Jollibee or a person like.
I'm sort of referring to the Jollibee standard, but then I looked up the recipe to just be like, I could probably make it at my house, and then hot dogs. Like, it was just a bit.
You could literally buy spaghetti in a can, and it's roughly the same thing, if not maybe a little shittier tasting.
Okay. And yeah, just keep putting sugar in it. No, I don't know. I
It's
actually
kind of
did
it.
that when I made a pizza sauce by accident. I was trying to mask like all these weird spices I put together, and it didn't really work.
Is that because you don't like the spices, or because you fucked up in the recipe?
Them together was just kind of bitter and weird, so I did something wrong. Maybe chili flakes or something. I was trying to cover it, and then as it went, it was just like, wow, this is like the sugariest sauce ever. I enjoyed it on my Detroit style pizza, but I had to use store-bought stuff for the next batch of pizzas.
Sure, yeah.
Because I was going to share that one. But yeah. Hey, do you want to talk about recent television?
It depends, because there are things I have been watching, but I don't know if they're things that like you're wanting to bring up. So.
Oh, okay. I mostly talk about Rick and his grandson.
Okay, I have been watching these. Sure.
Okay. Yeah, they're going on adventures. I watched the most recent one today.
Yeah.
Kind of
the
South
incest
Parky.
One?
Yeah.
Okay,
It gave me South Park vibes. Like,
totally.
I don't mid that show maybe or something. It just seemed like an episode they would have done, but with some sci-fi flavor. I heard basic feedback seemed to be pretty negative about it, but I was just happy I got to watch it because I was like fighting with YouTube to like surface my purchased episode, and it still isn't there. But if I go to Google Play, they're like linked together, and it's there for some reason. So
that's,
I don't know,
really weird.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you have access to this. It's like, okay, why isn't it on YouTube though? Because like there's like a handy YouTube app on our new TV, and I kept like refreshing it and checking it, and it's like, what's going on? It aired already. People are complaining about it. I want to watch it. But
Can
we talk
about the season so far, because I think that kind of puts like shines a light on how I feel about this specific episode, because the first episode of this season I thought was actually fantastic. I thought it was really good. It was where Rick is hosting a dinner with
Mr. Nimbus?
Mr. Nimbus or something like that. He is a
Aquaman ripoff.
Aquaman, or what the hell was the other guy's name? Nemo or something? Like, there was another character that was similar, but yeah, an Aquaman stereotype or something.
Well, kind of more merman-y, I guess, but yeah.
Like a hypersexual merman.
A lot of thrusting. I think he was voiced by Dan Harmon. But yeah.
Okay, sure.
So they want to age this wine into really great wine in this pocket dimension or whatever.
Yeah.
And then that creates this weird Narnia situation. I enjoyed their Narnia illusion. Like, it's just, I'm not a beaver who believes in Jesus or whatever was a fun line to me. But it's like, yeah, that's basically those books is one-to-one Christ analogies. But,
okay. Namor with the submariner. That's who I was thinking of.
Okay.
But yeah, the idea is that in this pocket dimension, there's like, in this dimension, everything ages like much more quickly compared to like our real time as humans or whatever. So the gag is essentially every time Morty goes back in to like get another thing of wine because of whatever happens in their time or their dinner, that he wants to get more because he's having like a little pseudo date with a girl at the same time.
Yeah.
Every time he goes in there, he does something to make it so he is like mortally hated by these people, essentially. I think it starts off as like a small gaffe where he like accidentally kills someone, or like,
no, the beginning of it is weirdly like innocent, and it's he comes back for the wine for the first time, and there's like this big crate of wine, and this elderly like dad is just like, hey, no, it's great you put this here, I'll help you carry it out. And he goes through the portal and then returns like decades later.
Oh, and everything's dead.
Or a decade, say, and his wife is dead, and his son is like 9 or something and crazy because he's been on his own for this whole time. So then he stabs the dad, and it causes this like family hatred of this guy initially, like of Morty, who like is the death bringer or whatever. And then it escalates every single time Morty ducks in there. To the point of absurdity, I guess, is the whole thing. But
I think, like, just to wrap up that episode specifically, I think it's kind of the quintessential thing I like about the good episodes of Rick and Morty. I would consider that a good one or a great one because it has the, like, just completely stupid subplot going on. But the real thing that's going on is kind of like this fun science-y, like, miscommunication almost.
Like, there's pretty basic like sitcom nonsense happening in the main story, I guess, or whatever the return is, and then this side situation keeps escalating and spinning out of control, and sort of takes over the center stage in the last act or whatever. I enjoyed it. I think I liked the second episode more.
The second episode continues, I think. Like, I think it's a toss-up, whichever one you like more. I think they're both great. But the second episode where it's just this continuous, like, the Smith family is being hunted or hunting or both, like a bunch of copies of themselves by aliens, and then you find out that the aliens are actually like other clones. It's a giant clone saga thing, and it's really,
they call it
really
like an
smart.
Asimov cascade, and I need to figure out what that means. But maybe it's like robots creating robots that are then killing robots or something in that context. But it's basically clones have been made by all the Ricks, and then it's just kind of like you'll be watching a story for like a bit, and then suddenly that Rick and Morty will be killed, and it like pulls back to the ones that just killed them. So you never really know who's the real characters you've been following this whole time. It's kind of a chaotic bit of business.
There's like a Muppet Rick and Morty family. Like it's great.
Weird puppets. I love the creepy like Hills Have Eyes style Rick pulls off a mask and then is like he has like a weird hillbilly like deformed mask, and then he pulls it off and he's like a puppet or something. Like he's another type of monster. It's just okay, what were you concealing? Like it was there's some fun gags.
It's good. That's kind of where this is the problem I'm having so far with this season in general, is I think those 2 episodes are, let's say, S tier or whatever. They're like an A+. Sure. I think the next episode was like a D for me. I was just kind of not into it.
Oh, yeah. I remember the Planetina.
Yeah.
It ended really abruptly, I felt. Like, that was my initial... I've watched it twice now. I was at work and I had access to it, and it was like, like, let's see what happens again or whatever. I kind of like the Planetina side of the story. The, like, Rick and Summer go to several apocalypses was kind of...
Yeah, I didn't
whatever.
Like that. Yeah.
It wasn't the greatest. But yeah, and then it just kind of ends with like a breakup and then it's over. And I felt like, I thought there was like another act or something. Like she essentially becomes an eco-terrorist. Like it's like basically Captain Planet or whatever.
It's Captain Planet.
Yeah. Morty's dating female Captain Planet and then decides to like wrest control of like the rings that bring her here from like the weird greedy people that run her,
the Planeteers or whatever grown up.
Yeah,
that him taking the rings from them is the only part that's worth watching in that whole episode. I think that episode's a dud. Was not a fan.
Okay. Did you see episode 4?
So that's the thing, is that because I was like, oh well, that was kind of shitty. I thought episode 4 was actually kind of funny, at least.
It's really loose. Like they're goofing around.
Like
totally. That's where I was saying it's like South Parky. It really doesn't care, and it's kind of fun. Yeah, like I wasn't mad at it, but it's pretty lowbrow.
The chud,
the episodes go.
First of all, there's a cannibalistic horse minoid or whatever underground dwellers, the chuds.
Yeah. The chuds. And it's like, what? That's not what that usually means. But okay. They're cannibal horses, and there's just a giant society of them, apparently, that has always been there. Yeah. And there's this machine at Beth's hospital that removes biological samples from male horses. And Morty gets the great idea to use it for pleasuring himself. Yeah. And doesn't tell anyone. Yeah. And is super embarrassed about it, but also won't intervene in this like dumb situation where Rick is going to super science up a tub of horse semen he just stole or whatever. And it causes a giant race of sperm monsters to attack everybody. And things just go haywire. We get the president involved, and I guess it's sort of an Independence Day riff in the title. Like it's just
Rick Dependence Spray. Yeah.
Yep. And it was pretty dumb, but whatever.
So
there were some good
there's
jokes
also
in it.
one more episode. Episode 7 leaked early, and I downloaded and watched that, but I'm not going to talk about it.
Oh, dude. Episode 7?
Episode 7. So
okay.
It's weird because this week's or whatever episode's going to be new. The week after is going to be new, and then I have a week off essentially because I saw that episode.
That's so weird. Like, how did it get out of the can?
There are direct correlations to what happens in that episode based on what happens in Rick Dependence Spray episode.
Really?
So I think somebody accidentally like dropped it or something.
Huh. Weird. I almost wonder if my YouTube gaffe is like they put up the wrong one and then took it down and never fixed it or something. I don't know. I'm just trying to theorize why my situation is all jacked up.
Look, man, I know, that episode's out there and you can watch it, and it's fucking dumb in a way I think you specific, like people like you might appreciate. It has a pretty obvious, like some movie tie-ins, and it's pretty good.
Okay. Yeah. I also went back and watched some favorite season 4 episodes, so there was just a general looking into stuff.
I don't remember liking season 4, but I also don't remember any real specific moments. So what are some standout moments from season 4?
There was like the time traveling snakes one, like the space snake bites Morty and then he gets all guilty about it and like ruins this snake planet by sending an earth snake there, and things escalate to time traveling snakes trying to kill Snake Hitler and all this dumb stuff.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. And then there's this like story train kind of meta episode about writing, really, where it's just like I don't know. It's sort of their anthology episode for that season, where it's just like Rick and Morty are trapped on this train and trying to figure out what's going on, and it's actually a toy train, and all this kind of storytelling pattern stuff is discussed and figured out. It's kind of fun. And then the other one was the Vat of Acid episode. I think is pretty funny. It's
Vat of Acid.
Like I think it's called Rick Die Repeat or whatever. It's also like the one where Morty gets the rewinding device so he can play life like a video game.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah.
And then that has its own weird consequences at the end, and it's all Rick kind of spiting Morty because he didn't like his dumb plan to hide under fake acid. Like it's.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I thought that one was pretty funny, so I wanted to watch it again. And I have those on PlayStation, so I had to boot up that, and then I was like, oh yeah, PS Plus games and whatever. So, yep.
With Rick and Morty, what was the thing that made you kind of just realize, oh, I actually probably don't like most, like, I probably don't like most people that say they're a Rick and Morty fan? Is it Pickle Rick or the Szechuan sauce?
It's, both of those things got, like, over-memed to the point where it was weird, especially when there was, like, merch everywhere for Pickle Rick. It was just like, what is it about this? Like, I don't dislike that episode, but it just like caught in this weird way.
Yeah.
Well, it's like an action movie parody at some point with like a dumb, like using office supplies to battle like terrorists. And I was like, that's kind of fun.
I think it's as smart as the incest episode that just came out. It's the same type of stupid to me.
Well, there's like the family therapy side of it too, but yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's okay.
That's right.
Susan Sarandon. I don't know. But it's mostly maybe glimpses of the fandom on Reddit, but it doesn't pop up as much as it used to. So I think everybody's settled down a little bit. The condescension isn't as prominent. So, yeah. Oh, and the heist episode. That was also season 4. Anyway. Yeah. Where it's just mocking heist tropes the whole time, which is fair game. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah. Why did you have bad Rick and Morty fan experiences or continue to run into people?
It's just that when people say Pickle Rick, I die a little bit inside and want to kill myself. I
didn't seek out the sauce either. I'm sure it's okay, but I don't know. I didn't need McNuggets right then, so.
Sure. I don't know that they were even easy to find here. I've had Szechuan sauce before, from them specifically. I do remember like the Mulan thing because there's like a spicy Szechuan thing that came out, like a burger even recently. Like they've had that kind of flavor a few times, but
I think the thing I remember was like the 7 Trials of Hercules burger or something, and it was like 7 patties.
Oh my God.
I'm pretty sure that happened. But they're thin McDonald's patties, so it's not like totally insane, but it's, I vaguely remember some Hercules tie-in. And like kind of like a, picture of a burger towering crazily high on top of like a Greek column or something.
The thing I remember from the Hercules era was the plates, because we had them for like beers that you could get from McDonald's.
Okay. Awesome. I think they got a Space Jam deal going on right now, so I've kind of been tempted to see what's up with Space Jam merch. You know?
Yeah. Do you think Space Jam is ever... Okay, this is a loaded way to ask that question. Let me rephrase. I don't think... No, I'll just give my opinion. I don't think Space Jam was ever good, but it was the right thing for the demographic that I was at that time, so it hit differently. Because seeing like a few things from this new one looks fucking terrible, but I bet if I was a kid, I would be super into it.
Yeah, it's hard to say, like, would the first one have been cringy if I was like an adult in 1996? Because I can't tell you what that experience would have been like, because I was 9, so I just liked it and continue to like it because I visited it periodically.
Totally.
It's not like a super like splash of cold water when I watch it of just like, oh, Wayne Knight is so, it's like, no, this is great. Like, this is Space Jam. So I don't know.
Sure. Yeah.
They steal the shorts and Michael Jordan is there and whatever.
Sure.
I don't know how this new one's going to play. I'm kind of worried about several aspects of it, but my curiosity is too high because that original movie I watched too many times not to see what happened. So I will be there, I guess, in some capacity.
Sure.
It might bring me back to a movie theater. Like, that's how huge this is as an event. This is a cultural touchstone.
Is it only in theaters?
I don't know what Warner has set up. Like, with Disney's stuff, it's all like, oh, it's on Plus. You just have to pay some money or whatever. Right. But I'm not really sure what the situation is with Warner Brothers films. Like, it's like, oh, it's on HBO Max or something, maybe, would be the American way to see it.
I think I feel like Sean was talking about this. I think it is on HBO.
Okay. Like, that's how Wonder Woman and stuff came out. So I would imagine that's how they'll do it.
Okay. I can confirm. It is in theaters and streaming on HBO Max.
On the right now or on like the 16th or something?
This Friday, this thing says.
Okay.
So, yeah, the 16th.
Yeah, so get ready for Rappin' Porky and all sorts of great stuff.
Can we put down that you are going to watch it this weekend? 100%?
Oh, man. No, because there's like a real basketball game that I want to go watch with my cousins. So I don't think that will take priority over the actual finals. Sure. But more basketball content with LeBron probably in the month of July, I will say.
Sure.
Yeah.
I will 100%
My birthday's
watch
coming up, so what better way to celebrate than really thinking about your childhood,
right?
The 29th, so not that close.
No, the 19th, I thought.
Nope, 10 days off.
Who the fuck is the 19th? Because in July, there's 4 or 5 people I know with birthdays.
Lee and I are both on the 29th, so that's
somebody,
way to help remember.
Somebody has a birthday on the 7th, the 10th, the 19th, okay, and the 29th in July. I don't know who the 19th is then. My apologies, I guess.
No, it's okay. It's also got a 9. It's July.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So there you go. Space Jam. Speaking of sports, let's go to the dohyo and talk about a real contest.
Yeah.
The Nagoya Basho, which is actually taking place in Nagoya, which was really weird to like. There's been this lady that's always at the Kokugikon every tournament. And I was like looking for her to be where she always is, and it's like, oh yeah, right. This is a totally different prefecture. Why would she be there? That doesn't make any sense.
Maybe, but yeah,
maybe. But that's like a 2-week vacation out of your city to just see the sumo. So that's not exactly practical. But yeah, Hakuho's back, and he's actually doing really well, which is nice.
Yeah, they're going.
This
for
is your
that,
first time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sorry,
this is your first time seeing him, right? Like the Grand Yokozuna?
I mean, live. Well, yeah, recently.
During a current tournament, I guess. Yeah. There's plenty of video of him fighting. So.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Him and Teruno Fuji kind of going head-to-head with the 0-loss record so far, probably leading up to the Titans fighting at the very end. Probably.
That seems to be the direction it's going. I'm really bummed we lost Takakeisho so early in this tournament. Like, he could have at least been like an interesting extra cog in that whole thing. Like, I like Kotonowaka. I've chosen him before as like one of my guys, but I don't think he's an actual like Yusho threat. I mean, he's also like 2 losses behind or whatever. So
sure, yeah. And I'm just making sure here. I'm actually keeping track of everybody currently, because there's like not a pool going, but we're kind of doing like fantasy sumo now. A whole bunch of us. Yeah, and choosing fighters or whatever. Kotonowaka, besides the top 2, obviously. I think it looks like he is the only one as of today that has his Kachikoshi. So
yeah.
So that's a whole bunch of people have their Makekoshi as of today. So
yeah, one of my guys is close. He's got 7. It's Hoshoryu. He's actually doing quite well. Ura is doing okay, but I think he's like 5-5 or 6-4 or
he's
something
5-5. Yeah.
Yeah. Onosho continues to not do well, so I sort of regret choosing him as part of my team.
Dude, you think you regret it? I had Daisho, who was the first one to get his Makekoshi because he is the fucking worst person on this earth.
Is he at 1-9 now?
He's at 1-9. Yeah.
Okay.
The only person that was near him was Miyogiru. With he was they were both at the same. But now he at least got another win, I think today. Yeah, no, yesterday. So he's 2-8 now. But like,
I think I saw like 2 of your guys were fighting each other yesterday. It was like Tochinoshin was fighting somebody, Ishiura maybe. I forget.
Yeah. Ishiura has been doing fucking fantastic. He is 7-3, and all 7 of those have been in a row. He's been on fire for a full week.
Right. It was like the first 3 days were the losses, and then it's just like, I don't know, man. I chose a bad one, and that's like, no, you just figured it out. But yeah.
Yeah.
Who was it? Like there's also some where like Hokuto Fuji, I think all of his losses are against like the best dudes in the tournament. So I can't feel too bad about him. Like it's like, well, you lost to the Yokozuna and the Ozeki and like one Sekuwake or whatever.
And he's doing fine. He's 5-5. Yeah. So he's in the middle of the pack.
And now he gets easier dudes going forward. So, and then Takayasu and Terunofuji are my other guys. Takayasu I kept on there despite him like initially not being in the tournament, but then I heard pretty early that he was coming back. So it's like, all right, fine. I'll just trust that he does okay. And he's been doing okay, you know.
Sure.
Like, he might also be 5-5. Or,
well, he's 6-2-2 if we're going to be technical.
Right. So 6-4 essentially because he was absent for a couple. But yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, there you go. So I probably it'll come down to Terunofuji and Hakuho, which is cool.
Yeah. Terunofuji is probably going to be Yokozuna, right? Like,
I mean, even if he's just runner-up, technically they ought to promote him, especially coming off of 2 championship victories in a row. You would really hope that would supersede any, like, Mongolians are so awesome at this, and we're Japanese and really old, so grouchy, ouch. Right. It's just like, it's not going to be Shodai. Like, he's been struggling so bad. And then Asanoyama just, like, disgraced the sport and everything. So,
well, that's kind of what I wanted to talk to you about. So, like, Hakuho, everybody's saying that we don't know how much longer he has because he's getting older. Yeah. He's not 100% still. And, like, this might be one of the last times we see him. So they're going to need a Yokozuna. Terunofuji obviously will fit that. The problem now, though, is that we don't know what's going on with Takekeisho. Asanoyama is garbage. So, like, there's basically no Ozeki
like
right now.
Yeah, there's almost nobody that's on the verge of, like, a genuine promotion. Like, Shodai is probably going to get his Kachikoshi, but he's really just not
he hasn't been
powerful
impressive.
Ozeki the last, like, few tournaments. And I hope Takekeisho's okay. It was weird. It was a weird injury. I wasn't even sure what happened. Like, I think it was against Ichinojo, this, like, really big guy.
Yeah.
And he just kind of, like, powered him right out, and then he just kind of crumpled and was, like, his shoulder or his neck or something.
He just couldn't move. He was, like, paralyzed or something.
Yeah.
Like, crazy.
So, really hope he does better, like, just physically. I don't know what happened.
Totally.
Because I was really rooting for him to, like, basically repeat his May numbers, and then there could be 2 Yokozuna promotions. Because if one of them was the runner-up and one of them won, then you get both. Could do that, in theory, because he was officially the runner-up last tournament. So, and he's Japanese, so he would get a little boost maybe in this JSA situation. But it's just not how it happened. So, oh well, wait for September.
I think the other thing I want to touch on is how disappointed I am with Wakataka Kage as his first bout in Komusubi currently.
Yeah.
Not doing too great. 3-7 currently. You could say he's just like facing a lot of dudes that are out of his league, but like that's kind of the whole point of him being promoted out of Magashira to
and he did beat some of those guys in the last tournament, which is kind of why he got up there. So
totally.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a bummer to see that. Although on the other side of things, Meisei is kind of holding his own as Komusubi. He's 5-5 currently. So.
Yeah, and after demotion, like I know Takanosho's had at least 4 or 5 wins in a row, which was good to see.
He had 5 in a row. He was
really struggling last tournament. 5-10, I think he finished. So
that's right.
Yeah, he was on my team that time, and he was dragging me down. So
sure.
There's probably a science to choosing teams. I didn't really focus on too much. It's just Jason's All Sumo channel usually does a contest with like points and everything. I just really like that format, so that's basically how I chose my 5 guys. But they're not doing it this time because Jason's going to America for
right
important
now, basically
family crisis reasons. So,
as we record this, he's like left or leaving like today or something.
Oh, is today the day he posts the highlights?
Well,
and
he
then
said
that's
14th.
It for the tournament.
He said he's leaving the 14th, and I don't know if you meant Japanese time.
Japanese 14th or
or
okay.
Us. Yeah.
I think we're gonna get another couple videos of the tournament before he leaves, but it's off to do important stuff. So fair enough.
I'll go ahead and use that as a segue to promote. I'm probably going to do what he does, a contest for like our community next basho, because I have a group of people like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have like 6 or 7 other people besides you and me who have like already picked 5 for this one to follow and like kind of be cool with. It's been cool. A bunch of people are getting into it, obviously just chatting about it and whatnot.
So should we set up a spreadsheet or something? Or
I
just
have it. It's all done.
Oh, great. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, like that's what I'm looking at right now. I've been tracking every win and loss. What I've been doing is basically the night I get home, I'll load up the stream and like the VODs or whatever that we're going to watch, and I just kind of sit there, watch with people, and then mark down who's winning and whatever, and let the spreadsheet kind of calculate everything for me. But like, it's been pretty much just having a good time chatting and talking sumo and stuff like every night. It's fucking dope. It's been really cool.
No, it's pretty fun.
It's good time.
Yeah, it's my favorite combat sport for sure. So also pretty dangerous occasionally.
Yeah.
Concussion protocols and wheelchairs and things that they need to do better. But
totally.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what were the recent, like, it's also fun when there's just a nice protracted bout, like an 80-second one or something was yesterday, which was a nice refreshment from like the 10-second immediately fall over kind of things you get a lot of.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Day 7 specifically, if anybody's like listening and they're just like, I want like a highlight or something, watch the match with Tobizaru versus Hakuho. That last match.
Weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. This really like standoffish, like, I know if I go in there, I'm going to get roasted. So I'm going to like try to do something here.
Yeah.
it was an interesting bit of business. Yeah.
That's a moment
Most
worth
matches
watching.
aren't like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
I think, Jason was linking to it. There's like an old, like, it's the first time Takakeisho ever fought him too. It's sort of a similar deal.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, if I go in there, I will get thrown. So.
Yeah. I mean, they kind of have to like size up what they're doing. They can't just run in there. And it's kind of interesting because that's why I think those guys more than, like, I fucking hate Ichinojo. And I'm pretty sure the reason why is because Ichinojo's thing is I'm giant and fat, so I'm going to run into the problem. And I hate that. It's like so boring
as a strategy.
Yeah.
there's not much dynamic moves to what he does. Yeah. It's why I like watching Ura, because he has to do weird stuff. And he has this weird low crouching stance that he's always using. Like, it's just no one else in the top division or anywhere is doing that quite like that. So,
and he looks like a happy teddy bear all the time.
Yeah, he's a pretty upbeat kind of vibes from him. So, yeah, and bright pink Mawashi, just owning it. So, it's fun. Sorry, I have a visitor here.
Bear?
It's a cat.
Is it?
Yeah, it's my cat Bear. He's decided to check out the microphone, make sure it's working.
I just realized nobody is going to get to see because
you can't see him, and then now he's being quiet. So
yeah,
perfect audio experience.
Yeah, Sumo's been great. We're at day 10 currently, so 5 more days. I was really considering, even though I work the same day, watching day 15 live, but I don't know. I'll probably just wait till I get home. I work alone all day. Nobody's going to spoil it for me. I'll come home and watch on my own time and not be exhausted, so.
I think it would be on at like 1 in the morning or something, right?
Yeah, but I work at 8, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it goes till 3. So it's like, 3 in the morning, go to bed. Like, I could, theoretically, but why?
It would mess up the next day pretty bad, yeah.
It's not like a football game or something where I go to work and somebody might tell me the score. Like, nobody's going to tell me what happened.
It could only be me, and I'll promise not to do that.
Well, you won't even be around. I'm alone on Sundays.
Oh, on the weekend. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Oh, yeah, they always wrap up on a Sunday. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, I won't text you spitefully or something and be like, oh, dude.
Just, like, turn my phone off or something.
Yeah, Conan Walker did it.
Yeah.
There was a playoff. It was the weirdest thing. He beat both of them.
It's kind of funny, too, because there is no, like, playoff, really. Like, there is, but there won't be, because it's only Hakuho as a Yokozuna, I guess. But, like...
Right. There'd have to be losses for both parties or something. Yeah. Because they haven't fought each other yet, so they can't. Yeah,
the only thing that could be spoiled is the Terunofuji Hakuho fight, because that's kind of like, I don't know,
the conclusion this is building to or whatever. Yeah.
So
I can tell you, like, Chiyu Tairu fought Tochinoshin. I guess that would spoil something for your team.
You know what sucks though is, and I'm sure that you will know this feeling exactly. When you haven't been able to catch up on the day yet, and you just wanted to see, it's like, oh shit, I heard Endo's out. What happened to him? So you type Endo Sumo or whatever to like Google it, and the first thing that comes up is Hakuho with great upset is like the first thing. Like, no matter what, if you try to look up anything about sumo, every headline
prior
is
to that
what
Tobi
happened.
Zaru fight, I heard it was like really weird, so I was like expecting that.
Oh, yeah.
But it didn't spoil who won, I guess. But I wasn't really expecting Tobizaru to have gotten a Kimboshi or whatever.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Sumo wrestling. It's on the internet, and it's happening right now.
It is extraordinarily hard to, like, unless you watch... If you don't want to watch somebody else with their commentary or whatever, it is extremely hard to watch for us.
Like the original Japanese broadcast?
I found a site where I can watch like a stream of the television. I don't understand a word that's being said.
Right. But it's weird because there is like English commentators there in the stadium or whatever. Like they're doing a thing, but you may not get that, I guess. Right?
Right.
Like, yeah, Jason switches to that during his, like, when he's there with the matches.
Yeah, but, so you can get, like, the English commentary track, essentially, if you are watching it on TV. But if you're, like, us here, the only way we can get it is by somebody streaming it, and the people streaming it are just streaming the original Japanese broadcast, so it's such a bummer. Like, I wonder if there's, like, a radio station I can tune into while watching it at the same... Oh, I was supposed to bring that up to you. Because somebody told me that you should be doing that if you don't like the commentary for NBA games, is find a good radio station.
I have done that a couple times where I've like synced the video from like a pirate stream And then as an NBA League Pass person, you do get the radio broadcast still.
Sure.
So I just try to synchronize what's happening if I'm sick of Marv Albert, which I think he's finally done. He's supposed to have retired now. So hopefully that era is over and we can just move on. I don't really have beef with any other commentators that I can think of immediately. Although some of the local broadcast ones, like, I just don't like. But that's, team grouchiness.
Sure.
But yeah. How do I pivot to, like, a book review from that? There's just no good way.
Is it a sumo book?
It's not. It's like a horror book set in Alabama. So
that's pretty close.
Yeah, it's similar. Alabamans love sumo.
Love sumo.
Everybody knows it.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it's Michael McDowell's The Amulet. Hey, buddy. God. Anyway, it is his first novel. I briefly talked about him before. He wrote this book called The Elementals, which I was really excited about. This book is kind of like, I'm going to say like a forerunner of the Final Destination movies or something.
Okay.
It's basically like a bunch of horrible events happening to anyone who wears this cursed amulet. And it just kind of travels around this southern town, kind of like the One Ring or something. Like, it clearly has a will to cause mischief. So as soon as like this awful murder-suicide has happened, it'll fall off the person that just died terribly and then be like found by a kid or something. And they'll take it home and be like, hey, check it out. There's this cool amulet. And then they'll put it on. There's a whole kind of like where it comes from with this awful mother-in-law character and her long-suffering daughter-in-law kind of dealing with this handicapped husband of hers that just had a rifle blow up in his face when he was drafted for Vietnam. That's like the thing that sets this all off, is like spiteful gift giving of this amulet. But yeah, it really reads like those kind of situations where it's going to go bad as soon as the amulet enters the proceedings, sort of like a Final Destination scene where you're just like, what's going to happen here? Is the fan going to fall on their head, or are they going to get in a fire somehow, or like whatever? If a scene's in a car, it's going to go off a bridge or something. Like, it's just dread and death the whole time. And then it escalates to like an insane, like, town-wide disaster, and then a really like confident mic drop kind of ending. It was pretty cool. So really kind of schlocky but it's like a first novel, lot of high body count. But yeah, apparently it was inspired by seeing the Omen trailer in the 70s and then going home and like brainstorming crazy ways people could die. So yeah, I don't know. Cause I'm like, I don't know what's in the Omen trailer, but like the crazy death in that movie is like that big pane of glass that's like falls off a truck or something in this Italian town and like cuts off a dude's head. Like, it's total proto Final Destination kind of stuff on its own, but that's the devil doing it. This is a lot like that. So yeah, I don't know. It was grimy and bloody and vicious in a way, but a little bit of humor, less so than the Elementals. I still think that's better, but that's like 3 years later, and he's learned some tricks and things. So,
sure.
For a first time out, it's pretty great. So yeah. I'm still going down that path of reading more of those.
I'm going to reiterate for people in case they want to check it out. It's The Amulet by Michael McDowell. Do not search The Amulet alone, because you will bring up a series called Amulet by Kazu Kibushi, which is more modern.
Yeah, it's not the same thing. This was 1979.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to think of anything about it as like crazy dated or anything. Like, some of it's just like racial politics of the South at the time, but it's like a pretty savvy dated. Author.
Alabama is still like that.
Is still doing that. Yeah. So maybe it's still like, oh yeah, we don't go across the tracks to that part of town or whatever. Like, there might still be that happening today. So it paints a pretty good like crappy small town. Like, you sympathize with some of the people trapped there, but other characters, you're just like, man, this person is so terrible. I don't know, like good villainy, I guess. Like just I don't know. It sort of vibes with some Stephen King villains in a way, but maybe just because it's also horror. But just completely unreasonable, obstinate people that are just running things because that's how it is or whatever. Like just like kind of Percy and Green Mile vibes or something. You know?
Do they get what they deserve at least? Is that part of the fun?
That's the thing. Like, yes, but the way it decides to like frame it and end with that story in mind is like pretty confident for like a first time author. It's kind of cool. Like I turned a page and went just like, what? Like it was a nice little like splash at the end, I thought. Okay. But yeah. So in stores now. They republished it like 3-4 years
like
ago.
30 years ago, 32 years ago. Oh, republished a few years ago.
Yeah, some of these have kind of come back in recent years, so I'm still on the hunt for some more. But yeah. And yeah, I also have my regular segment ready to go.
Oh,
Hidden Treasure. I did a few old video games. The first one is the highest rated on GameSpot, but I'm going to say probably it is aged out of being anything. It's called Dark Summit, and it's a snowboarding game. It's kind of like THQ's answer to the SSX games, but with kind of like an action edge to it. So it's like snowboard down this mountain, but you got to disarm this bomb because there's like terrorists or whatever, you know?
There is a redheaded girl with a low-cut tank top on the front cover, so you know it's edgy.
Yeah, 2001, I think.
20 years ago.
Came out.
Yep.
Yeah. It sounds like the big novelty at the time was it had a story mode, and it was kind of like the military has seized this mountain, and parts of it are kind of off limits, like Area 51 research is going on, and you have to, like, snowboard in there to solve the mysteries, but you're just kind of snowboarding and grinding and getting things, but the things are at least contextualized by this sort of action flavored story. It got 7.8 by Giancarlo Veronini at GameSpot back in the day, so hype. The next one got a horrible review in GMR magazine. I think it was like a 4 out of 10 or something, but GameSpot was a little more generous. They gave the PC version anyway a 6.6. It's called Dead Man's Hand, and it's a Western first-person shooter by Human Head Studios, which I forget what they're really famous for actually releasing, but they were going to do Prey 2 was the thing. Like there was that Blade Runner-esque demo that a bunch of game journalists saw that never happened, that never came out.
Sure.
But that story got out there for a while about like, oh, dude, Prey 2 looks sick. And I was like, okay. It's those people. Apparently the game was really lame on the multiplayer front, and the single player was kind of neat and at least didn't like break as much as the Xbox version is kind of the tone of this Greg Kasavin review. But it just doesn't have a lot of like standout stuff. It's more just the novelty at the time of like an Old West shooter. There's like 4 of those. So this is kind of neat, right? Like this is before Call of Juarez and Red Dead and everything. So that setting was innately kind of exciting. I at least kind of raised my eyebrow at it. I think you win poker games to get like power-ups and stuff between levels.
Okay.
Like it had some fun, dumb ideas in it. But Old West shooters. Did you ever play Gun?
I did.
How do you feel about that?
I didn't love it. I don't like a lot of Western stuff, period. I think it's a lame time period for a lot of things.
Yeah, this review, though, like Greg Kasavin's review, at least reminded me that there was this LucasArts game called Outlaws that I sort of still want to check out. I think it was also first person, but with like a really exaggerated, like kind of hand-drawn art style. So I'm curious what that even was. Like maybe it's on GOG or something. I don't know about this game, though. I don't know that I'll bother checking it out. But yeah.
Sure.
The last one, like, genuinely sounded really intriguing to this day. It's called Blood Will Tell. It's the guy who made Astro Boy, like Osamu Tezuka. Like, it's a story of his. I don't know. It, like, reading it, it sounded kind of like Metroid or something, in terms of, like, Metroid 2 specifically, in that you are like a samurai who has had 48 of his body parts stolen by demons, and you need to go kill those 48 demons. And it kind of happens a bit non-linearly, where you're going through like 7 set chapters, but how you encounter these bosses and demons and stuff and fight them is kind of open-ended. Okay. So it sounded intriguing, like, I don't know. And as you gain your body parts back, you get more and more kind of power-ups. It sounds like it has a pretty good, like, ability curve or whatever. Like, you just keep gaining things as you fight more and more crazy demons. And there's something like, I don't know why it's not 48. I think there's like 60 boss battles from what I was reading.
Okay.
But the janky thing about it apparently was the camera control is really weird. That's what brought it down to a 7.3 by Justin Calvert. But like almost all of the text of the review is like pretty jazzed about the story and how it's structured and everything. So I'm still kind of curious about it. It sounds like an interesting time. But yeah, Japanese, like, I think the big thing is like at the start of it, he's more like metal than man or something. Like he's got like sword arms and legs and cannons on his like appendages and stuff. And then as he becomes more human over the course of the game, he gets more powers. So I don't know. It I vaguely remember seeing like preview stuff of this game in magazines, and then that's how I kind of decided to follow up on it. So yeah.
Okay.
I don't know how rare it is, but it sounded like a cool game. So that's the treasure for this time.
Okay, cool. Sounds good to me. I have no treasure.
Yeah, I haven't really been playing much. Like, I gave up on playing, like, forcing myself through Mass Effect 3 right now. I just wasn't stoked about it. I was also having, like, Xbox Series X controller issues that are apparently just a thing that happens, where, like, the drivers for it on PC are a little weird. Like, it keeps disconnecting, like, mid-playing, and then it finds it again. Like, it's like trying to save batteries or something. It's pretty awesome. So that was my, like, replacement controller after I realized I had, like, stick drift on my Xbox One controller. So all of my gaming has been weirdly compromised by controller headaches since then. So that might not be helping. Like I was playing Halo on Heroic, and then occasionally just the controller dies in your hands and an elite kills you, and you're just like, that was not my fault.
Sucks.
Like,
yeah,
that's some garbage that just happened, you know?
Yeah, it totally makes you just not want to play, for sure.
Yeah. So I don't know what I'm waiting on, a much like less intense game, or maybe I'll just play that Mario Golf or something.
Did you end up buying that?
Not yet, but I haven't written it off as a possibility.
Yeah.
It's, even if it's like, what, I don't even know what it has on Metacritic or anything. It's more just like, as long as it did its job and made a golf game, like I'll probably be okay. I keep wondering why there's never been like mini golf in it since the first game, because I really enjoy mini golf and it seems like an easy thing to do. But ever since to like Toadstool Tour on, never again have they bothered putting that in there. So I don't know. That's my message to Nintendo.
Want it, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's weird.
I do. Like, you know, it's the geometry. You bounce it off the stuff, and you know.
Yeah.
But I guess you could just actually go mini golfing. But
I mean, arguably, I think mini golf is better than normal golf by a huge margin. So I mean, I agree.
Yeah, like make the short game fun and like challenging instead of just like a oval.
I pretty much don't
like
respect
hills.
like actual golf, really. Like the thing that got me into the idea of getting Mario Golf at all was seeing the like not previews, like trailers and stuff, and showing like the multiplayer thing of like the speed golf and like
the rush mode or whatever.
Yeah, that's the type of stuff that it's just like, okay, that looks fun. Normal golf can like eat my balls as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, it's a rich man's game. Just eating up real estate and
it's a rich white man's game specifically.
Yeah. There is that tiger guy, but he broke his back or something in a car accident. It was weird.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
Like he did it. He was part of a big comeback, and then he kind of flipped his SUV or something. So his career's like over again. But yeah. Unless he does a Terunofuji style comeback, but I doubt it.
That comeback is impressive, to say the least.
Yeah. That's all the prepared stuff I have, other than kind of our rules changed in the province about masks and the pandemic, and it's been vaguely stressful.
It's been so stupid because we like can't follow them. There's like, so I guess to set the stage a little bit, there's kind of like a provincial and a federal thing going on, where provincially in Alberta, they're just like, who fucking cares? Do whatever you want, guys. Yeehaw. Or whatever. And most people and places are like, okay, well, like, whatever. We don't really care about masks anymore. But because we're in Alberta, federally, though, or owned or, like, regulated, we have to wait until they, across Canada, take away masks completely. I'm
a bit perplexed by, like, what that means. Is it because, like, we're ruled by, like, the CBSA and their federal organization, and if they don't feel safe in our facility, that's like a problem or something?
Because it's a sufferance bonded warehouse through the CBSA, I think, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it was just a little nebulous as to like who would be at issue with it. There was a bit of a lag between like the municipal level and the provincial level. It was like 5 days or something. Like it was like on July 1st, throw your mask in the trash. That was the premier. And then our mayor was like, no, don't. Not until the 5th. And then there was kind of like a few days of just kind of like, what? Who? Where? But now it's kind of just, you know, go down to the rodeo and drink a beer and, you know, ride the boat. I don't know. Is there one of those swinging boats? Like, it's probably a bit elaborate for a midway. But anyway, yeah. Which I don't know. I still wear one because I'm on drugs that make my immune system bad again. So I'm still not super safe feeling.
Sure. I think that like just society, if we're going to get into like this whole discussion, I think societally we're at a point now where people should be able to choose if they want to wear one or not, but it shouldn't be federally mandated that like everyone has to, because I'm fully vaccinated. I'm young. Like I don't feel at all at risk. If I had a problem like you do, I probably would feel differently. But like, yeah, I don't know.
We've been going to like a bit more restaurants and stuff, but we still mask before we get to our table and stuff.
I think most restaurants still want you to do that.
Okay.
Also, I think so.
Well, it's just been this past week, but yeah. And we've been trying to shop, but like it's like some of the hours are still limited from before. So it's just like, they close at 5 today. Oh, okay. Well,
at what point can we stop using that as an excuse? It's like, yeah, but COVID. 2 years ago, bro. Stay open till fucking 8. Like, fuck off.
Yeah. I don't want to be the one like with the sign or the one grouching or whatever, but
fuck these people.
It was inconvenient. Yeah.
I'm annoyed because it's not even, it's the people that are like doing this are also crying that they're not getting any help by the government to like stay open, and they're going bankrupt. You're going bankrupt because you're never fucking open. Fuck you.
Oh, the businesses? Yeah,
the businesses.
Oh, it is a lot of business owners complaining the most loudly, for sure. So yeah, it is a bit kind of, you're kneecapping yourself a little bit here. But then maybe they're short staffed now because they let people go or something. I know, and everybody's on CERB. Yeah.
Well, maybe not now because of how little we handle, but there was a point where it was like we could have used a couple more people in the warehouse specifically.
Yeah, not a lot of coverage, but yeah. Not a lot of airplanes though either. But now maybe that's going to change a little bit too, but who can say? But yeah, Alberta politics.
Yeah, the thing everybody loves to listen to on the internet. Local politics.
Like, hey, write in. What's going on with your mayor or whatever? What's your governor say? Yeah. Or, premier if you're also in Canada.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know. Not like this week. I mean, and next time we talk, probably will be the same. It's basically sumo here. That's like the thing going on that is consistent with something new to talk about every day. I'm not really playing much either myself right now, so.
I mean, the other sports are kind of evaporating before our eyes. Like, hockey's over. The Lightning won the Stanley Cup.
With the whimper that we all kind of figured was coming.
Basketball is almost over, and they're really spacing out those last few games, like every 3 days or something.
Oh, really?
So, yeah. So tomorrow is going to be the next one, and then Saturday. And then we'll see where it's at.
Yeah.
There's only so many left. Suns versus Bucks. Catch it. Woo!
Yeah.
Yeah. Any questions or anything this week, or no?
No, pretty dead this week.
I guess that's the new time slot. We changed on the audience. They didn't know to write in, so
that's obviously the problem.
That's what happened. It's kind of like redundant because I already talked about this last time. I'm seeing in my notes. I finally actually put up our Alien episode on OK Video. I hadn't even edited it last time.
I don't think we talked about it last time.
Oh, okay.
We skipped over it, so.
Yeah, it was Aliens versus Alien 3 is kind of the beef between Ryan and I that we sort out over like 2 hours. So,
okay, what side were you on again?
Aliens, the entertaining
that's the right
one.
Side.
Yeah,
honestly,
like the fun movie. No, we kind of talk about like it's such a wonky trilogy because it like ends with its bleakest chapter. Like that's not how you're supposed to do that. Was my angle on it, but I don't know. It's just it was so 90s, dude. It's like the grungiest, most industrial alien movie that you could imagine. Is the third one, so you could watch it, but maybe watch that second one. I thought it was better. But yeah,
it is better.
Very different movie though from like the rest of them as it goes.
Yeah,
but you get that queen alien. So hey, buddy,
he agrees.
Yeah, Bears also feels the same way about the aliens. I watched the theatrical cut, which was a little weird because I usually watch the longer one. So I was missing things that I'm used to seeing. But yeah. Oh. Here we go. Perfect. Good job, buddy. Have to edit that.
No, that's staying in. That's good radio right there. Hit the gong bear. Boom.
Yeah, it was my water bottle. I did watch a Mystery Science Theater episode, but it was the Asylum. They did a movie, like a ripoff of Pacific Rim. I just feel like movies that are like intentionally bad aren't a great fit. Because,
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's just like, no, this isn't a mistake that
it's
this
the wrong
is so
energy.
awful.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a little bit like, this is low-hanging fruit or something. Like, let's get like an actual earnest failure, like an Ed Wood or something. That's more interesting.
Yeah.
Where it's like, no, they put 120% into this, and it's just the worst. Like, that's more exciting, just in general. But
sure.
Anyway. All right. Should we like weigh anchor and head off into the podcast seascape?
I am curious as to if you care at all about Black Widow. I guess like in Marvel in general, that's kind of the conversation overall
I think it's really suffered from not coming out when it was supposed to, because like some of these shows that have come out have kind of like opened interesting new avenues that I'm not sure this action movie prequel is going to get to do anything about,
Sure.
Like we're watching Loki,
and
there's just all this like metaverse, like timekeepers and like another timeline and all this kind of crazy stuff, and it's just like, yeah, let's go back to the Taskmaster. He can copy your karate moves.
Yeah, and they fucked up on how they do Taskmaster differently.
Like he doesn't have a cool skull face, or
I mean,
like
it's not a he, first of all, anymore.
What?
And he isn't evil, but being controlled by a businessman, essentially. Like, yeah, they fuck up Taskmaster pretty bad.
Oh no! Have you seen it already? Or
I have. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Is David Harbour in it a bunch or not really? I was wondering about that too.
He is not in it as much as you would want, but maybe for what he does, he's in it too much.
Oh, no. Okay. He's like Captain Russia or something, right?
Red Guardian?
Okay.
Yeah. So, yes, he is Russian Captain America, essentially.
Okay. Yeah.
That movie is way too late. It's way too late.
It's fully a prequel? Like, there's nothing mind-bending about any of it?
It is fully a prequel. It ends with a, like, I'm going to go, like, talk to the Avengers, essentially, because...
Huh.
Yeah,
why wasn't that, like, phase 1 or something, you know?
It's the part in between what happens in Civil War and when they come back together, basically in Infinity War. It's like what Black Widow was doing in that time period, essentially.
Oh, weird. I thought it was even further back. Like,
no.
Okay.
It's very much still a Black Widow film where she is known as an Avenger, even though the Avengers are currently fighting and not talking to each other. Yeah.
Okay. Huh. Yeah, I thought it was like, here's an origin story about back in Russia.
That's the first, like, 20 minutes is, like, a quick, like, origin recap of who these people are with a terrible Smells Like Teen Spirit cover.
Awesome.
There's, like, at the end of the day, it's a Marvel movie. So if you just want, like, an action thing, it's going to give you that. It's fine. There's really bad accents from everybody that are, like, kind of supposed to be Russian, but maybe aren't.
Like, dude, on that note, like, I just bought Singularity in the Steam sale, so I can get that like, bad Russian energy.
Oh, man.
in a first-person shooter.
I've been considering revisiting that game.
Yeah, I was listening to old podcasts and was like, oh, yeah, I probably totally have that. That was surely in a Humble Bundle or something. And I was like, no, you don't. I was like, oh, but it was like $8. So I decided to pick it up.
Sure.
Well, technically I picked it up, but I accidentally gifted it to my wife because I bought her the Dot Hack trilogy. And
it was part of the same.
It was part of the same purchase.
Yeah.
I thought it would like delineate what you want to gift, and it was just like, no, you gave all that to Brittany. I was like, can I play my own video game? Like, we had to like share libraries and stuff. Yeah.
No, you can't play it.
But yeah. So our household owns Singularity, and
nice.
Okay, I might just play that. But I'm not like writing off ever seeing it. I'm sure I will, but I'm not like, gotta get to the movie theater, the new Marvel. Like, it just seems kind of, it missed its window or something. So yeah.
Maybe this is super premature. I think Marvel in general has had its time, and I think it's done in a lot of ways for me. Like,
okay,
the TV show stuff has been kind of interesting. It's all leading up to Young Avengers, which is cool, but I don't think I care enough to wait another 20 years for the payoff.
Is that like a new group of characters then? Or
well, yeah, it's a different set of Avengers, essentially.
Oh, that's why we're getting like Shang-Chi and all this.
Well, it's why Kid Loki was the big reveal for Loki, because he exists. What's her name? Kate Bishop, with Arrow, or not Arrow, the fucking dude nobody likes is like the other big thing. Like,
Hawkeye.
Yeah, Hawkeye. I'm getting like fucking. I was like,
no, you're
DC.
right. It's Arrow. It's like, no, that's DC.
That's DC's show. Yeah.
Green Arrow. Their lame Archer character. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Like, that's basically why all this shit is happening.
Or what was it?
Yeah,
Namor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know. It's cool, but it feels to me like I was in it for up to Endgame. Like, that was my generation
of the stuff you care about.
That was my generation of Marvel.
Some of the stuff they're talking about, it's like, is this like a bit? Like, you're seriously going to do like Moon Knight? Like, do people care about Moon Knight? It's like,
I am interested to see how they do
Moon Knight people that care. It's
yeah, I'm interested to see how they do Moon Knight. I wouldn't say that Moon Knight is like a seller for Marvel necessarily.
No, like, although when this all started, I kind of thought like Iron Man was like a C tier character because I was like,
yeah,
who is that? Like, who cares?
And
it's
Thor.
Like, oh, dude, people are gonna care. And it's like, all right, if you say so. Yeah, Thor, all of it. It was just like, there's just like a guy from Norse mythology and like Stan Lee pretended he made him or something. What happened? And it's like, no, he's been on tons of adventures. I basically like knew real comic fans in like grade 7 and they were telling me this stuff. And then all of that became the biggest movie franchise of all time. Like, 6 years later. But at the time it was like, dude, this is like dumb.
There was always people that cared about Iron Man. I don't know, I think in my real life, anybody that cared about Thor. So the fact that Thor was a thing was surprising to me growing up.
Yeah. I think they were specifically big Cap and Iron Man fans. And
there were fans for Cap as well. True.
Yeah.
But like Spider-Man was always the guy. I mean, specifically for me and my group, Spider-Man was always like the dude. So it made sense to me that there'd be a shitload of Spider-Man movies. That made sense.
Sure. And then there's still like the weird licensing around how he appears and when and where. Like it's not super easy.
It's weird.
Yep.
Yeah.
But that's the Marvel update. So you're digging Loki or nah?
I am. Yeah, I'm digging Loki. I think all of the shows are pretty good. The thing that annoys me is when something cool happens and then it's like, tune in next week. It's like, oh, come on.
Oh, yeah, we're a bit behind, so we kind of still have one ahead of us that we could just watch. It's more of a matter of time on our part. But, yeah, it does do that, where you can't just keep going.
All of them do. All of those shows, yeah. But I guess I cared less about the Winter Soldier and Falcon, because fuck those characters. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, we just kind of bailed on that show, because of all the spokes on that wheel, it's just like, oh, we're really gonna hang out in like the Cap part of this universe for a while
without the dude, without Cap himself,
without even the dude.
Yeah,
it was the hardest sell. It kind of that's the vibes I'm getting from Black Widow, is that kind of like serious action movie energy. That's just like, you're not that great at this. You should like have weirder stuff in here, or just don't bother at this point.
It's a lot of her on the run. Like,
okay.
Yeah.
Fugitive
People have
style.
said it feels more like a Jason Bourne movie, and it's kind of true.
I liked like one of those. So
sure.
The first one.
I mean,
and
you
then
might
Paul
like this one then.
Greengrass.
Who knows?
All right. Yeah.
Who knows?
It's okay. Not every movie is for everybody. So I'll just be okay.
Totally.
I think. I'm more jazzed about the Space Jam, even if it's bad. I need to see that with my eyeballs. Like, what is Don Cheadle doing? Why isn't he Danny DeVito? We will find out.
Yeah.
But until then, thanks for sailing with us on the Good Ship Pixel Response. This has been Nathan and Paul. I don't know if we said our names.
We didn't.
But I'm Nathan.
And I'm Paul.
And he's Paul. And we'll see you next time on 164.